afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us today for this very exciting webinar. My name is Virginia, and I'm going to be your moderator for today's call. At the end of the call, we will be opening up your lines for any questions that you would like to direct at Bill or Mike. Please make sure that you have entered in your audio PIN. If you haven't, your line will not be able to be unmuted for your question. To find your audio PIN, please take a look at your right side menu. If at any point during the webinar you do have a question, you can also enter it on the right side menu underneath the question section. We will be posting a replay of this call on our blog, amsnews.com, so feel free to watch it again and comment on it and share it with your friends as well. Today's topic is growing your business using the latest proven strategies leveraging marketing, relationships, and technology. Today's host is AMS's president and founder, Mike Kowalski. Mike, are you there?
I am. Thank you, Virginia. And hello and welcome, everyone, on today's call. We have a great call lined up for you today and a very, very, very special guest joining me on the call today. His name is Bill Glazer, and most of the people on the call may already know Bill. But the ones that don't, let me just share his bio. Bill Glazer is the president of Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle. He's a best-selling author, professional speaker, marketing consultant, and coach, and a much sought-after copywriter. Bill, after 30 years in the trenches work with his own hugely successful business, he perfected his unusual, effective, outrageous advertising combined with direct response marketing that routinely receives outstanding responses. So just before we bring on Bill on the line, I really wanted to kind of share my relationship with Bill and how we kind of got to know each other. I've been an active member of the Glazer Kennedy group, attending most of these his super conferences for over 10 years now. And I must say the content and network and speakers that are delivered at these events have really changed my paradigm on the way I run my business. And I've also worked with many of Bill's members, some of the top information marketers in North America, through joint ventures throughout the years, and I've also participated in some of the two-day consultations annually with Dan Kennedy, and it really took my business to the next level. So it really is definitely worth the investment joining the Glazer Kennedy Circle. So let's get started, Virginia. I see that people are jumping on the line, and so without further delay, Bill, are you there? How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for that very nice introduction. I appreciate it, Mike, and we certainly value our relationship with you and AMS as well.
Well, thanks to have you, and just to let everyone on the call know, Bill's got a little bit of a cold, and my voice isn't too well as well, so hopefully we can, Bill, we can get through this without any problems.
The only thing that's good that's come out of my hoarse voice, Mike, is my wife said I sound a little sexier now, so that's the only thing that's come out of it. Ain't good at all. But other than that, I'm in the midst of a cold and affected my voice. Yep.
Well, you sound good to me, Bill. So anyway, did you want to add anything about your background or bio? Is there anything that I've missed that you want to share with the people like Paul said?
I listen. Again, I thank you very much for saying what you said about us. I mean, I think what might be why I think people are attracted to the message that we deliver at Glazer Kennedy is because both Dan and I are real business owners, working in the trenches every day. So it's not what we teach is in theory, it's actually what we apply to our own business and work. So that might be a distinction that we own in the marketplace. But other than that, I think you did a great job, and you said more nice things about me than I deserve. So thank you.
No problem. Well, let's get started. And, this call really is all about leveraging your marketing, technology, and people. And I want to start out by defining the word leverage and how it really relates to growing your business. And leverage is the power to maximize results, with the least amount of energy, time, money, and risk on your part. It really is all about maximum output for minimum input. So how can a small business owner use leverage to really achieve revenue growth? So to me, there's like three important areas that I know Bill yourself has leveraged in the past and currently. And here they are. First is marketing. and the second is people or relationships, and the third is technology. So let's start, Bill, with marketing and the power of drug response marketing. I know there's some people that really don't have an understanding of drug response marketing. You know, I've been a student of drug response marketing for over 13 years now, but let's start off by how have you used drug response marketing to really leverage yourself in your business, and can you share some of the key points or strategies that you've implemented? Maybe starting back in your retail business, leading right into your current Glazer Kennedy information marketing business.
Sure, I'm happy to. So a couple of things in terms of marketing. The type of marketing that we teach at Glazer Kennedy is, as you identified, direct response marketing. And I think the easiest way for me to explain direct response marketing, or what I mean by direct response marketing, is that everything that you do is measurable and accountable so that you can see an actual return on your investment, as opposed to another type of marketing, which is brand building, which is what you try to do is you try to establish your name where people remember you when they're looking for your products or services, but there's no way of actually determining whether or not the result came as a result of that, which is interesting. If I could just go off on a little bit of a tangent for a second, is one of the nice benefits of the kind of marketing that I teach, which is direct response marketing, everything is accountable and measurable, is that as a byproduct of that, you also automatically start building your brand as well. But what I tell everybody is that they should never be really thinking in terms of primarily building a brand. You will eventually go broke if you just spend your money on brand building. So everything should be on direct response marketing. There's two other important points I'll mention about it, Mike, is the fact that because of the fact that it is direct response marketing, there are some commonalities in everything that you do. And one of the commonalities is that everything that you do has an offer attached to it. Now, that doesn't mean, because a lot of people get a very visceral reaction when they hear the word offer, because they think that they're going to have to discount. And oftentimes that is a way to make an offer, but there are other ways of making offers that you don't have to discount. But you have to, what you have to do is you have to exchange value for money. So you have to make an offer where what you are selling the thing for has great value, where people are going to get hopefully a multiple of what the investment is. So the second element that always has to be in direct response marketing is there always has to be a deadline, because of the fact that everybody is pretty much procrastinators. We all see things that we want to do, but we don't do it. We set it aside, and because we think we're going to come back to it, we never come back to it, and so there's no real reason, there's no urgency to respond. And by the way, there are ways to make deadlines other than just by date. Oftentimes you can make it by limited quantity or by bonuses that go away after a while, things like that. So, but everything has to have an offer and a deadline that goes with it. And I would say the last point that I'll make about marketing, which is one of the reasons why the work that you guys do at AMS is just so valuable, and we'll probably sort of leap into technology, I know, also on this topic, but there's an important marketing premise that everybody needs to embrace, which is a premise that we call diversity leads to stability. And what we mean by that is that in doing your marketing, you don't want to rely only on one type of media. So many people, I find, rely way too heavily on email marketing. And by the way, I'm a huge fan of email marketing. I make millions of dollars every year by sending out emails to our list. But we also send out direct mail to our list. We also do voice broadcasts. We do fax broadcasting when we can, legally in certain areas. We use websites. We use all kinds of media. We have now a web TV show at Glazer Kennedy. We have we send out e-zines, newsletters. We have offline newsletters, everything. So what I'm saying is that it's very, very, if you want to get good at marketing, you want to get good at growing your business, you don't want to rely too much on just one type of media. So, and just tying it all together, going back to my menswear days and now the work that I do, not only at Glazer Kennedy, but with over 300 clients that I work with personally today, is that we follow the exact same principles I just talked about. Everything is direct response. Everything has an offer and a deadline. We use as much diverse media as we possibly can. And when I was in my former business, which was menswear, I grew my business to become one of the top 10 most successful menswear stores in the United States. I don't know about Canada, Mike. I never checked there. But in the United States, I was one of the top 10 most successful. And it was doing exactly that, which was crafting good marketing messages, using direct response marketing, and using as much as diverse media as I possibly could use. And by combining all that together, I grew that business, and now Glazer Kennedy now is one of the most successful info marketing businesses in the world, using the exact same strategy. So there's your sort of your look at marketing from my perspective.
Okay, I got a good point you made about using on and offline mediums to deliver your marketing message. That's a question I always get. Is it a waste of money? Promoting your product or service offline anymore in this web-based world, which has really taken over as far as but it really is just another medium. And like you said, let's get into reverse prospecting. Like marketing is reverse prospecting, right? It's really leveraging yourself through marketing and getting prospects to call you rather than calling them. So it's really providing them a non-threatening way to get information, whether it's through a recorded hotline or a video web page. No one wants to be sold, and getting them to raise their hand and get their contact information for in trade in exchange for the information of your product or service. Can you share your thoughts on the concept of reverse prospecting?
Sure. Well, I mean, and I'm just going to amplify what you just said, is that I believe that everybody that's on this call and everybody who's in business today should be in the information marketing business. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean that you are in the information marketing business to make money in the information marketing business as I am. But you should be in the information marketing business to provide valuable information to your customers, clients, patients, or prospects in order to now move you from being a seller of a product or service to becoming an expert in the area of the product or service. So when you do that, when you make that shift, where somebody now looks at you as an expert, they now want to seek you out versus you having to go sell them and seek them out. And that's exactly the thing that you explained, Mike, is the fact that everybody should be in the business of this, which you call, I think you call it reverse prospecting, right, which is basically getting people now to come to you. So, and certainly a lot of the services that you provide at AMS really is a wonderful tool to enable that to happen as well, by making, hotlines and things like that available where people can go seek out additional information, downloads or free reports and things along that lines. So once again, everybody should be in the information marketing business where now you are repositioned as that expert. It makes the job of the sale infinitely easier.
Well, yeah, and like you said, the marketing principles and strategies, they apply to really any industry. I've heard people in the past say, well, that Mike, it doesn't work in my arena or my industry, but it does apply, and the implementation is probably the most important thing. Do something, get it done. Good is good enough. What I say is some people just try to make it perfect, and they never get around to implementing any strategies.
Yeah, if I could just make two comments about what you just said, Mike, is the people that say that this doesn't work in my industry, mm-hmm. the only reason why it doesn't work in the industry is because they don't know the right ways to make it work. So they make media and or the direct response strategies work. I mean, in order to make it work, it takes a combination of a lot of little things to get a good result. So they don't do the right things to make it big different industries. I mean, so diverse. And we apply the same thing to every one of their businesses. And, you know, they are all in industries where people are saying what you just said, Mike, which is others are in that industry are saying this doesn't work in my industry, and they're all proving them wrong. So don't succumb to that. The other thing I'll just quickly talk about is use the word implementation. And I don't know that I'm famous for saying a lot of things, but I've got a handful of things that I'm often quoted in saying. And one of them that I'm often quoted saying is my saying that the difference between an ordinary business and an extraordinary business is implementation. That's really what it comes down to, is the entrepreneurs that I work with that are the biggest implementers and the quickest to implement. So speed is important. That they who do those two things, they get the best results. And again, just if I can shamelessly plug you for a second, and your company. I mean, one of the nice things about what AMS provides is speed of implementation by using technology and resources. So everybody's very smart in searching out those easy buttons, if you would, in order to get things done quicker by leveraging resources. Now I'm done. Go ahead, Mike.
Great. Well, yeah, we can probably talk about marketing through this whole call, but we only have an hour. And I just want one last question, or one thing I want you to comment on, Bill, is about the social media. It's a huge buzz now, and is it making people money? Should they be on it? Can you really track or monetize that you can make money from social media, or is it just an area where you build relationships and hopefully they link onto your blog or your website? Can you just quickly comment on that, and then we'll get to the next
well, and I will. And let me say a couple of things about it by way of background. First of all, there are a lot of people out there that are much bigger experts in social media than I am. So, like, I'm what I call a marketing generalist, and so I cover all kinds of media. And again, there are a lot of people that specialize more in social media. And truth be told, at my company, Glazer+Kennedy, we are very involved with social media. My daughter, Mara, actually heads that up, so she would actually be a better person to talk to about social media than I would, because that's what she does all day long. However, with saying that, there are a couple things about it that I will mention. A is there are obviously things to do and not to do on social media. So on the actual social media sites themselves, you cannot be as aggressive, nearly even close to as aggressive, in the way that you make offers that you are in other media. So you've got to really sort of play by their rules. If not, and you can expand it so far, but you can only expand it so far. But you got to sort of play by what is considered to be the rules of being on social media. However, with saying that, the real simple solution to that is to move the person from one media to another media. So, like, for example, if you can get them to opt in with their email into something else that moves them away from off the social media site into a place where they're now asking for resources, take a baby step, and now have their email in a separate place, then you can treat that email like we treat all other emails, and then make offers to them through their emails. That is the way that the people that are making the most money with social media today, I have observed, and also we did a 3-day training here at Glazer+Kennedy to about 200 entrepreneurs, which we called the Social Media Money Magnet. And that was the biggest takeaway that came out of that whole 3-day training, was getting them to take a baby step where they moved from the social media site by opting in their email to something else, and now having permission to market to them. And yes, you can make a lot of money with social media still today. My daughter constantly reminds me of how much money we're making with our sites, because she constantly wants to prove to me that she's worth what we're paying her. So she constantly reminds me of that. And yet we're making money, and a lot of other people are making a lot more money than we're even making with.
Well, that's great. Okay, well, let's move on to the next important area, and that's leveraging people or relationships. And really, it's about leveraging your time through the efforts of others, freeing you to focus on activities where you can change the outcome. So some of the things I know, Bill, you were big on are using other people's list or customers, either through an affiliate program or joint venture. So can you share your thoughts on why it's so important and more than ever to kind of leverage people, especially in this economy, to grow your business, and how are you doing it?
Yeah, I'm happy to. As a matter of fact, asking me that question, you're going to get an answer that you won't necessarily get from others, and other people have different takes on this. And I'm going to give you my honest take on it, Mike. And actually, ironically enough, my relationship with you is heavily based on what I'm about to say. So by way of background, there's no question at all that people that are either in startup businesses, new divisions to their business, or they want to grow their business, there's no question at all that one of the quickest ways to do that is to find other people who have assembled lists of customers that are as similar to the types of people that you would want to sell your products and services to. So the first thing is finding the right market to leverage your relationships with, which is people that are already selling to people that would also need your products or services. So that's a quick way to grow any business, new business or existing business. Now I'm going to rant a little bit and then loop back to why Mike and I get along so well. So the rant I'm going to make is most people do this the wrong way. What they do is they contact other people and they say to them, I've got this product or service that I now want to, would like to see if you would promote it for me, and we'll share in the revenue from the sales that result from it. At Glazer Kennedy, there isn't a week that goes by that I don't get 10 of those inquiries. And many times I get those inquiries with big packages of gifts and other stuff that comes with them, trying to either bribe me to do it for them and or grab my attention with how creative they are putting the whole thing together. But very few people really do it on the topic that you asked me to talk about, which is using the word relationship in it. So they don't try to build a relationship enough. All they try to do is say, would you will make money? And what people find out pretty easily is it's easy to make money once you learn how to make money, and you could almost promote anybody's stuff and make money. You have your choices of that. And the people that decide to help each other, they actually decide to help each other because of a relationship they have with the other person. So like the type of inquiry that I like best is when somebody contacts me and doesn't say, would you promote my stuff? They say to me, Bill, how can we help you? The kind of way that I reach out to my affiliates and JV partners when I do things with them and I want them to promote my things, is I say to them, how can I help you? And which really leads me back to my Mike Kowalski relationship. Because Mike, what I like about our relationship, neither one of us keeps score. You've always been very nice about promoting Glazer Kennedy. Even when we opened the call, you said very nice things about your association with Glazer Kennedy. I've always been very forthright about promoting your products, AMS. And it's not because we're keeping score that, if you do this for me, I'll do this for you. It's that, number one, we both provide a real valuable service. And also is we have a relationship where we are friendly to each other. We help each other out. From time to time, there's been time that I've reached out to you and said, Mike, would you be my guest at this thing? Or would you take care of this thing? Would you want to do this thing where there's an opportunity for you? And I don't keep score, and you don't keep score either. And that's the way you really create relationship with people. And that's what gets you to having the best JV partnerships where you think about how can you help the other person and not from a perspective of keeping score. Because what happens is reciprocity kicks in. Right? Because people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And so as soon as you have people that you know, like, and trust, you just want to naturally do business for them. So again, I mean, just use the Mike example. And Mike, you had no idea what the hell I was going to talk about on this. But usually like Mike example, I mean, if Mike reached out to me and asked for a favor, I'm likely to say yes. And if I reach out to Mike and I ask him for a favor, he's likely to say yes, as long as it sort of makes sense for us. And now that's where you get to relationship. So I hope that is the answer to your question. Again, Mike, a lot of people, if you would ask that question to, they're going to tell you, it's all about making money and all that kind of stuff. Right. But we already know how to make money. Right. So, and we know that the shortcut to making money is having people that in our cadre of folks that we have a relationship with. So I hope that was helpful to you, and I hope that is an answer that you enjoyed hearing.
Yes, that is, and well said, Bill, and I appreciate the comments. And like, no one gets rich by themselves, right? If I could just share kind of a relationship that got me going over 13 years ago with Craig Proctor, who is a real estate guru and a member, I believe he's a platinum member of Bill+Glazer Kennedy. It's funny how we met. We met in 1997. He sold my house up in Canada, and what attracted me about Craig and got him to do a listing was his direct response marketing message. Sold in 60 days, I'll buy your home for cash, guaranteed. And that was pretty compelling. And it's funny how I called in and Craig sold my house. We talked about what he was doing. He was building a marketing system for realtors that he had it figured out. Now he was in the process of replicating that. And I was providing technology, and we both got going from there. Together we built a turnkey lead generation and marketing system for real estate agents in North America, building a multi-million-dollar business. So there's a relationship where it was give and take. And Craig had the marketing, the content, I had the technology. We customized the technology. We both leverage each other and have a really great relationship and still do. And that's we've also replicated that same model in other niches. So it's just another example that I had as far as a JV relationship as well.
If I could give one example of mine, although it's probably not as a big of income as it was your relationship with Craig, who, by the way, is a really great guy, Craig. It is, I last year I came out with my book, and I wanted to make it a bestseller. Mm-hmm. And I developed a list of about 50 people that I asked that they would promote the book for me, and I reached out to them, and 46 out of 50 said yes. And it wasn't a big money maker for them to promote the book because the book is $19.95. But because of my relationship that I had with these people, 46 out of 50 people said yes, which they normally would say no to somebody asking them to sell a $20 book, because they have more expensive stuff that they can promote. So it's a great example of how important relationship is in order to accomplish our goals.
And by the way, that's a great book. I've read it about 5 times. So
thank you.
Courageous advertising. Yeah. So I guess one last point on relationships or leveraging other people to help you with your business. Outsourcing. You always hear do what you do best and outsource the rest, right? What do you feel about outsourcing?
Well, I pretty much outsource whatever I can. Now, I'm not going to say that by the fact that I outsource everything. So, like, for example, if you came to the Glazer County offices in Towson, Maryland, we would walk into an office where we have 28 employees. So, obviously, we have 27 people plus me that all are working here under a roof that have a job that we're not outsourcing. We're doing it in-house. However, with saying that, is I have usually found that when you can outsource something, oftentimes you can actually get it done better than if you did keep it in-house because you can find people that are real specialists in specific tasks. And again, I mean, listen, I'll plug AMS again. It sounds like an AMS love fest here, but I'll plug it again. And, it's certainly, you guys are specialists in the types of technology that you provide. We outsource all the fulfillment of our products. So we have people in Kansas that warehouse all of our resources, and when we get an order, we email them the order, and they pack it up and ship it out. We outsource that. We outsource our printing. We outsource our CD duplication, because those are people that can do it better than we can do it in-house. And so, I'm a big believer in outsourcing. And quite the other thing that's interesting about outsourcing is if you do have a problem with a vendor that you're outsourcing to, it's actually easier to fix the problem than if it's an employee that you're having doing it in-house, because you just find another vendor. You move over to another vendor.
Right.
It's more reliable. So there are as I said, there's many big, I'm a big believer in outsourcing. And frankly, only because I'm from old school, which I grew up in brick and mortar businesses, and I'm used to having flesh and blood people around me all the time,
Right.
that I have some people that work here in my office, or like my web team and my graphic designer and people like that I really could outsource that, but I kind of like having some people around me that I could just, ask them to do certain tasks, and then I could see it right away, right in my own office. But and many people are outsourcing those as well, and there's nothing wrong with that. So again, I think outsourcing is very smart, and I'm just going to say the two biggest advantages of it is A, you can find specialists in specific tasks, and B, you buying speed. Things get done faster usually when you're outsourcing them.
That's good. Well, that leads us right into our third important topic, and that's technology, which we've touched on earlier in the call. It's actually kind of a biggie for AMS. This is what we offer. We offer tools to automate your marketing through systems both on and offline. And so I'm not going to get into all the weeds of what it is, but we provide automated lead capture, incubation of that lead, and then we follow up and we automate it using the on and offline methods that we talked about. So a 800 hotline, a recorded message, and a video squeeze page. I'll give you just a typical example of lead flow that we use with reverse prospecting. You may want to place an ad in Facebook or Google or a postcard, direct mail, or a special report, and have a call to action to drive that prospect to a lead capture squeeze page or 800 number. We provide the system for that. And so, we highly recommend that you use both to access your information or your product or service, and incubate that lead through a series of outbound touches, which we call campaign management, using various email, voice, fax, and mail broadcasting. So what that really does is it really does sift, sort, pre-qualify the leads through a series of direct response messages. So I know it's a mouthful, but on top of that, our system provides all kinds of tracking, so you can measure your return. And all this stuff could be predetermined and selected for up to a year. You can't imagine. I'll give you an example. To get people to this call today, I've used our own technology, the event marketing system, which we call EMS, and it's a series of outbound touches that we've used starting anywhere between 7 and 10 days before this webinar, using voice, fax, email, and even text broadcasting. So I believe that you should be touching people at least over 7 times to really get them to register and show up at an event like this, or a seminar, or whatever you choose to have. But I really kind of showcase the event marketing system to actually get people on this webinar, and we do have a whole lot that were registered and have shown up. So like you said earlier in the call, Bill, a lot of people will just send an email or two and hope that it's going to work, right? Using all these mediums, both on and off, to get their attention is how we've what we've been successful doing, and we do these webinars 2 or 3 a month. And on the inbound side, like I said, the lead capture, the lead incubation is a lot of what we do. And there's a software which we call lead management is kind of the heart of all this. It ties in all the outbound and inbound technology into one interface, so you really don't have to use multiple vendors to do this. So, Bill, do you want to comment on some of the technology you have used in the past and present to really leverage yourself to marketing automation?
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I think what I would have to say about that, which may be more valuable than even technology we've used, is commenting about what you just said, Mike, is, which is so important for everybody who just heard that to really totally grasp what Mike just said. I mean, he talked about, number one is capture a lead, okay, and then once you capture a lead, you call it incubation.
Mm-hmm.
It really is now developing relationships with a person. That's exactly really what it is. So now you're somebody is more likely to want to get to know and learn more about you. And then you also talked about the fact that in your system, you have a combination of voice, fax, email, and direct mail. So that loops back to that whole diversity leads to stability piece. So once again, it's not just relying on one type of media. Very dangerous to be relying on one type of media. Different people respond to different media. There's no question about it. Some people open up emails. Some people go to their mailbox. And so I mean, their snail mailbox. So you really don't want to be. You're costing yourself a huge amount of money if you just rely on one type of technology that there is. So listen, Mike, at Glazer Kennedy, as you know, we embrace as much different media as we possibly can embrace, and we certainly, use, as you pointed out, we use fax, we use voice, we use email, we use direct mail, online, we use other media such as our e-zines, and we also use our OBS Live TV show, and I mean, I have clients that are still using door hangers and things like that. And I really do. I mean, I have a client who's a dentist that uses door hangers as one of his best new customer acquisition strategy. And he drives them to a lead capture page to capture the lead and then begins the marketing process with them. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's so important to be using technology. What I like about what you have is like you have so much of the media types all under one roof. So you don't, like you pointed out, it's all in one system that there's in. If I could just sort of leap also to, on the same topic, like, if I could leap to sort of like, people often ask me, like when we do our national events, we have 2 big events we do every year, and then we usually do a couple smaller, more niched events. So our 2 big national events is our annual Marketing and Money Making Super Conference, and the other one is our Information Marketing Summit. And people come to our events, and we have normally 1,200 people at our Super Conference and about 800 people at our Info Summit. And they come to our events, and they're all constantly amazed at the size of the attendees. And there are lots of reasons why we get more people come to our events than most people get. And there are lots of intangible reasons, which I won't go to on this call unless, Mike, you want me to talk about them. But the important thing is that for us to put 1,200 people into a seminar, we usually use close to 100 different media touches for each event that we do, 100 of them. So you talked in terms of 7, Mike. People don't start paying attention to me at 7. I mean, we go deep and deeper into touches, and using as much diverse media as we possibly can. Mm-hmm. So it's really an important point that you do want to use technology, and you want to use it in a way that you can use as much different choices of media as you can.
Yeah, I could just add on. You really, Bill, you really don't want to alienate your prospects on how they get information from you, right? You'd be surprised. Some people prefer using the telephone or computer. 99% of the population uses telephones, and from my understanding, the older generation prefers to use the telephone over the computer. In most cases, they're the people with all the money. So you can lose that $1 million opportunity without providing another medium to deliver your message. And I just keep hearing over and over again from some of our clients that let's use the internet. It's free. Well, they should be using both, in my opinion. So okay, well we've got just over 15 minutes left, Bill. So by leveraging yourself in these three important areas that we just went through, you can really turn your kind of job into a business. And let's I guess we're almost ready for questions, Virginia. But before we do, Bill has a special opportunity for the people that have attended this call today to help leverage himself with the marketing portion. So, Bill, why don't you can you share some details on your best-selling Renegade Millionaire resources that you have for the people on the call today?
Yeah.
For a buck, by the way, too. $1.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so let me just first start off by saying that I kind of put this together for you, Mike, because again, this all loops back to what I was saying before. How with you and I, we're not really keeping track. We just want to help each other's businesses, right? So I wanted to make something as attractive as possible to all of your online friends, so they could take advantage of this opportunity. At the same time, because they are on your list, I wanted to add great value for you to offer them something. So I put together this very special opportunity. We have a program which was a full day teaching of some of our best marketing strategies, where I actually set aside an entire day with Dan Kay and I set aside an entire day. We went into a recording studio, and we recorded what we called this program called Renegade Millionaire Marketing. And just as by way of background, we have a cadre of resources that are under the Renegade Millionaire umbrella. And what Renegade Millionaires, our definition of them is they're the top most successful entrepreneurs in every niche. They're the Renegade Millionaires. They're the ones that don't do things like everybody else is doing them. They do them a little differently, and they're much, much more successful because of that. So what we did is we reached back into our clients' bases, and we thought about what are the commonalities that some of them do in order to achieve the most extraordinary success. And Dan and I put together a program called Renegade Millionaire Marketing, which is what are the most successful people doing in their marketing, with actual case studies and examples. And we also obviously talked about what we've done in our own businesses and our marketing. So this is a full day training, and we sell it. It's a $591 real value, but for your folks, they can pick up a copy for just $1. I also will mention, just so there's nobody that feels as though that everything wasn't fully revealed up front. It's an ethical bribe that we're giving you, that with the $1 offer, you also will get a 2-month test drive of our Elite Gold Glazer County membership along with it, and you can decide after 2 months if that's something you want to stay connected with us and continue to receive information from us every month. And if you decide this isn't right for you, then please, just let us know, and we will cancel your membership. People listening on the call will find it interesting that the average gold member stays with us for 17 months. 88% of them stay with us for 17 months. So once they find us, they find that we are the place to give them their marketing advice on a regular basis. And of course, we have members that have been with us for 10 years. So it's available to everybody, and they can go to a special link that we have created for people, which I believe is up on the screen right now, which is called Offers.
It's www.offersfromams.com. It's plural, O-F-F-E-R-S, from AMS.com. Yeah. So,
and I know, Mike, you're actually also bonusing it with a special offer that you put together with this, right?
That's correct, Bill. For anyone that opts into your dollar opportunity, we're going to add our silver bullet lead capture and follow-up system, which we talked about earlier in the call, as far as for 30 days, risk-free trial, no contract, and an additional extra full bonuses worth over $497. So it's all the turnkey automated technology, lead capture, and follow-up. If you opt into Bill's $1 Renegade Millionaire offer. So really, Bill, what you're getting for $1, you're getting the marketing expertise, you're getting the technology to leverage your business, all for $1. And it really is no risk. You can give it back if you don't like it. No hard feelings. There is a website to go to. It's convertleadsnow.com. convertleadsnow.com. It should be on the screen. It is on the screen. Or you can call our number, 800-858-8889, and dial 2. I'm just using another medium, Bill, to get this. Always do web and always do the phone as well. So, again,
I suggest, Mike, that we also, as a matter of fact, I whipped up a little email today that I sent to Brace to forward to you, which we ought to follow up to everybody on the call with an email that if you could send it out to them with a link to get these offers. That way, not only you could go over there right now, which I recommend that right after the call's over, go there right now. But
yeah,
if not, if you're driving around listening or whatever, but you can also have an email in your inbox either today or tomorrow where you can click on the link to grab it as well.
That's perfect. And again, we'll also provide a replay of this call for people that call and want to listen to this call or had to drop off early. There will be a replay as well in the next day or two, and also we'll have it in our next newsletter edition as well in January. So, okay, well that's good. Let's get on to Virginia on the Q&A. We've got about 10 minutes. Are there any questions from any of the people on the call today?
Yeah, actually we've had quite a few questions, but they're all pretty much asking the same thing. So we've got about 3. I've piled them into 3 questions for you. The first one here is from Jean Gar, and her question is, how can you use several forms or types of technology resources without being overbearing?
Mike, I'm happy to take that if you want.
Yeah, you go right ahead, Bill. Yeah.
Okay. So well, first of all, Jean, thanks for the question. It's one that we hear a lot, which is, how can you over-market to people? And there's a couple of answers to that. First of all, when surveys have been done and asked people, there's a very famous survey done at Stanford University several years ago, was asked, how often do you like to hear from people that you enjoy doing business with? The answer was, we like to hear from them at least every 10 days. So most people are very confused by that, because most marketers think that they can over-market to people, and the truth of the matter is most people are under-marketing to people. They're not communicating enough. Now, with saying that, there are a couple other things to consider. The other thing to consider is your marketing itself has to deliver value and be interesting. The biggest mistake you can make in your marketing, which most people make, unfortunately, is being boring with your marketing. That's the reason why I wrote my book, Outrageous Advertising, was to cut through the clutter so you're not boring with your marketing. So most of the time when people are unhappy with you and feel as though you are marketing to them too often, it's because either A, you are boring, or B, you're not delivering real value. And any combination of those two is deadly. So you always have to deliver real value, and you have to also be interesting and influential to the people that you actually are marketing to. And then the very last thing I'll say about that is a lot has to do with how you train your customers. So if you train your customers to expect to hear from you on a more frequent basis, then they will have no problem with it at all. If you don't train your customers to do that, if you don't explain to them the reasons why they are hearing from you more frequently, if you don't tell them specifically, this information is so important then they obviously will feel as though they're being overburdened with their marketing. So there's lots of factors that go into this, but the thing I will tell you is that if you start getting a lot of people complaining that you are communicating with them too often, what you're probably hearing is that you're not really delivering value to them often enough. So it's really about how do I increase the value so that my messages are welcome for me to receive versus they're not welcome for me to receive.
Virginia, let's take a few more questions. We still got about 8 or 9 minutes. Do you have another one?
Yeah. Question number 2 is from Kevin Cutzel. Is it better to provide multiple touches to a smaller pool of people or fewer touches to a larger pool of people?
You go ahead, Bill.
Well, I would tell you that it's better to provide multiple touches to a smaller group of people. I would tell you that whenever I attack a marketing campaign, I always want to, when I can, to narrow the list down as much as I can so that there is as good a message that there is to the specific market. So there's message to market match, which is a basic Dan Kennedy principle that he's been teaching since the beginning of time. So I always tell people you're better off with a smaller list, but to be able to now market to them more often, allowing you to spend what you need to spend in order to actually cut through the clutter. Because there's no doubt about it. What gives you a big competitive advantage is to be able to spend more. So if you're going to go to a smaller list, it allows you to spend more to a smaller list. And so that again gives you a huge advantage. So my answer is a smaller list, more touches.
That's great. Virginia, we'll take a few more. Just a reminder that we will be posting all of these questions and answers on our blog, amsnews.com, so you can not only review the replay of the call, you can also review some of the questions that were on this call. And again, don't forget to comment and share with your friends on this as well. So, Virginia, let's take another question.
Okay. Our last question is from Julie Smith, and she's asking if offline marketing, for example, newspapers, industry magazines, hotlines, if they're a waste of money in this web-based world.
Well, it's really, Julie, it's really a little too generic of a question. The answer is you want to go where your customers are at. So if your customers are reading newspapers, magazines, you certainly want to go there. Newspapers and magazines are successful media as long as you learn how to successfully use the media. But, which again, goes back to some people will put ads in newspapers and get a terrific response, and some people will put ads in newspapers and get a horrible response. Same newspaper, just that some people know how to use it right, some people don't know how to use it right. But the bottom line to your question really is you want to go where your customers are at. So if your customers are online, you obviously want to be online. If your customers are online and reading newspapers or trade magazines for an industry, I would suggest you be both, online and use the trade magazine for industry. Again, diversity leads to stability, but it really you have to do some research to see first you have to figure out who your customer is. And then once you figure out who your customer is, you have to do some research to figure out where they're at.
Great. Good answer.
Okay, good. Sorry.
Go ahead. You have
I
another
was
one?
going to say one more question did come through,
Okay.
and they're wondering what avenue works best or gets the best response when you're actually just starting out, when you're just starting to do your advertising and build your list and so forth.
Well, I have two answers to that question. And I get this question a lot, and obviously, when somebody's just starting out, they oftentimes have more work cut out for them than somebody who's an established business. And the part that I don't know, so I'm going to give an answer without knowing the most important thing, which is what is your marketing budget in order to accomplish your goals? And that's a big factor as well. But with saying that, I would be doing two things simultaneously. if I was just starting out. One of them is I would be looking at who else has the customer that I would like to sell to. And I would be reaching out to them with, how can I help you? I like to, I think that we can be mutually helpful to each other, but I like to figure out what value I can bring to you in your business. So I was starting there first to build a relationship with them. Simultaneously, I would be looking to build my own list of people. And as I'm building my own list of people, I probably wouldn't jump to selling to them too quickly. I would be jumping to building relationship with them, sort of like what Mike described as the incubation period. So putting them through an incubation where we are dropping useful information to them, so now you're moved from being a seller to being an information provider, which is now an expert in your field. So I'd be doing both of those simultaneously as you're just starting out. Of course, if you have a multi-million dollar budget, the job of this becomes much easier to accomplish.
Right. That's great. Well, we got a few more minutes left, Bill. We should probably just finish off. Any final thoughts you want to share with the folks on the call before we close off?
Well, the one thing I would tell you is that most people do not put enough value into becoming the marketer of their business. So when I was in the menswear business, and I got started in 1974, right when I got out of college, so it gives you a little glimpse into how ancient I am. But when I first started in the business, for the first 20 years I was in that business, I was successful, but I was successful by doing two words: hard work. I just worked really, really, really hard. And it really wasn't until 1996 when I first heard Dan Kennedy speak at a success seminar that for the first time that I started learning smart and successful marketing strategies. And I moved myself gradually from being a retailer of menswear to a marketer of a menswear business. So the thing that you have to realize is whatever business you're in, your number one job is to become the marketer of that business. Mike Kowalski's number one job, he's the president of AMS, but his number one job is the marketer of AMS. Bill Glazer's number one job is the marketer of Glazer Kennedy. And whatever business you're in, your number one job is that. And when you move yourself into that area, you will now think differently and become infinitely more successful.
Well, that's great, Bill. I just want to recap the website to get the Renegade Millionaire Marketing Resource. If you can put that on the screen, Virginia, is www.offersfromams.com. And the AMS offer is convertleadsnow.com. Well, Bill, it was a great call. I want to thank you so much for spending this hour with us. I know you're a real busy guy, and I appreciate your time and sharing your marketing wisdom with everyone on the call today. Appreciate it.
Hey, you're very welcome. I have two quick things to say. Number one is I've been on a lot of webinars, and Virginia does a great job. So, Virginia, thank you very much. You're doing a great job. And number two is, Mike, I want to wish you and everybody on the call, we're in December here when we're recording this. We're approaching the holidays. So I wish everybody a very happy holiday and a very prosperous 2011.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.